think Amel kind of I think we kind of have the same disease. I think when it comes easy to you, like when your access to that thing comes easy to you, I think you take it for granted.
Mm.
And I think that, me and Amel were this super, super elitist, creative, snobby, like, we looked at music like, we didn't respect nothing unless it was all the way up there.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think she kind of carried that into her solo career versus me making music really became a business.
Yeah.
I would go out and listen and I'd be competitive. I wanted to be competitive with Pharrell, Timbaland, all that, Jermaine. We were all cool, but we were all still competitive.
Yeah, but then at this time, did you decide to give up being a rapper and just say, I want to start to produce? And then how are you thinking about getting the artist to produce? Or did you have a plan as to what if you once you master the production, what you do next?
I had um I had a plan. I wanted to do something like Mantronics.
Okay.
That's all I knew. So I wanted to get a female singer. I wanted to be like Curtis more than anything. I just wanted to be like, Mantronic. I just wanted to do my version of, what I saw him do. So I wanted to do that. The publishing company I was signed to started giving me problems. They were like, we don't understand what this is that you gave us. Like, we don't, like, it's a track. We get that, but we don't understand where this is going. So Karen Durant, Amel was her assistant.
Wow.
Yeah, so she was like, you remember Mel, right, from the office? Like, yeah. She was like, yo, she can sing. I was like, all right. She's like, no, like, she's dope. Like, you should try her out in music. I said, all right. And me and Mel were cool. So I brought her out to Jersey, put a mic in the bathroom, and she wrote something to a track that me and my friend Daryl made. Who Daryl Brown played on most of the Group 3 stuff, like 90% of it.
Okay.
Um, he was older than me, but very, very well versed in every instrument. So me and him, he'd come over every day. We just make tracks. So me and Daryl put her in the bathroom, and she started singing, and we were just blown away. Like all of a sudden, all these ideas I had here, because I see music in colors and pictures.
Mm.
So I know what I want when I'm making it. But on the other side, the melody and lyric side is not my thing.
Ah,
And
okay.
I never explored it. And all of a sudden she sung to this and everything just made sense. Like every single track I did start to make sense. And that's when I
Oh,
was like, it needs to be her.
wow. So then was she okay? Was she still working with Karen while you guys were coming up with the stuff?
She was working for Karen for a short while after. Um, she got fired. I don't know what for, but she didn't have the job anymore. And then I just started just sustaining the group. I just started, paying my bills, paying her bills, because that's what I saw Curtis do with me.
Oh, what about how did the name? Did you already have the name, or how did you come up with the name Group Theory?
I think I had the name a little before Amel came on. Yeah, I did have the name before she came on. It's just the same as Mantronics. Mantronics is human with electronics, so group theory was something kind of organic and loose and whatever and swingy. And theory was something that's, the technical aspect of it, you know?
So you wanted to mirror what Mantronics was. So you knew that it was going to be a producer with a singer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Once you got a mail, did you just work on demos before looking for a deal, or how does that journey go?
So there was a guy named Paris Davis, cool dudes from Brooklyn, actually 2 blocks away from where my grandmother lived. I didn't know that at the time, but Paris, he was a cool dude. He was older. He knew just knew a bunch of girls. And he knew, like Puff and Puff, Andre Harrell, Jimmy Love. He knew all of those dudes. I didn't know any of these guys, so I
Oh,
met a lot of them through Paris. And Paris, I gave him the top floor I had a townhouse, 4 stories, right?
Wow.
And the top floor was just sitting there. I was like, if you want, you can stay up there. So he stayed up there. And while he was there, he was like, yo, I like what y'all doing. I might be getting this job over at Epic. I was like, all right, well, then you might want to sign us. Upstairs is free. So, um, so we went through our thing with Paris. Paris is such a cool dude, but he's like, for an A&R, he's an artist himself. He's just as left and crazy as any artist. Um, so, we go through our ups and downs and our fights and everything. And Paris introduced me to one of his friends, Jeff Burrows. And at that time, Paris wasn't really checking. He was like, whatever with y'all, make some better songs. His friend Jeff liked it and called Benny Medina. So we went out to LA, met with Benny Medina, and Benny loved it. As soon as we walked in his office, he knew every single word to every song.
What?
It was like, it was good, because we were kind of getting beat down. It was good to go to LA and somebody just, loved the stuff. So when that happened, of course, that caught the attention of Paris. Paris going crazy, like, I helped put this together. How could y'all? So then it was like, all right, Paris, you got, pull out all the stops, get Tommy Mottola. So he brought Tommy Mottola in.
Wow.
And Tommy was like, in between this, I had also partnered up with Jimmy Henchman at the time, because Jimmy had a group called Jimmy Henchman and Peter Thomas from Housewives of Atlanta.
Okay.
Were partners. And they had a company and they had a group out of London called Rhythm and Bass. Who, Wayne from the group is really like, they're rock stars now. They're huge writers now. They're killing it. But we gave them Tell Me First.
Wow.
And came out on Epic in the UK, didn't do well. So we had that. So now the team is really me and Jimmy, because when my money started getting dry, Jimmy just started helping with me self-fund this thing. So we took care of everything. And when we saw Benny, Paris got a little pressure from that. He brought in Tommy Mottola. Tommy was like, what do y'all want? He's like, you want this much money? You want this, this? And I was like, and give Amel a publishing deal. He said, that's all you want? Got on the phone, got everything.
Did you think that you could write some more, or what was it? I mean, did you?
Yeah, we got more for sure. We definitely got more. We definitely, those days you would get like 300,000, 350. We got like 600,000 for a record deal, so 500, something crazy. So we got everything we wanted because Paris put us with Tommy. So we go to sign the deal, and Amel's attorney, Amel's like, you gotta see my attorney. I'm like, for what? She's like, I don't know. You just want, all right. I'm dropping her off. I forget about it. Next day she's like, hey, my lawyer's hitting what time? All right, I'll go down there. I get to her lawyers, and he's like, this ain't happening. She's not signing to you. Because she was supposed to sign to my production company. My production company does the deal. What I did with Curtis. He's like, she's not signing this. I was like, why is she not signing this? So he's like, well, because this should be 50-50. I'm like, how? I've been spending all my money. I've done this before. I put the shit together. Like, what are you talking about? I look over at Amel, and she's just looking at the floor. And I'm like, yo, what's wrong with this dude? She's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you want to do? She's like, I don't know, but I gotta listen to my lawyer. So I'm feeling like I'm just feeling real uneasy, like somebody's pulling the wool over my eyes. So I curse him out because he's telling me this doesn't happen in groups. I said, this never happened. He said, well, CNC Music Factory. I said, yeah, CNC Music Factory, Soul to Soul, and Mantronics, stupid. I was in Mantronics. You can't tell me nothing about this. So he's like, oh, well, that is interesting. I'm like, yeah. So she needs to sign. I go into the other room, into the conference room. We take a break. My lawyer gets on the phone. My lawyer was in Atlanta. He gets on the phone. He's like, look, this is the deal. Benny Medina offered Amel a solo artist deal because he didn't like you telling him no. I was like, shit. So that's when I started understanding this is chess. I get it. So I just had to eat my pride. This is something that I was working on before Mel came in the picture. So I had to really assess the value of doing this deal versus not. And I was like, bro, you can't start over. You can't go find a new singer, go do new music. Like, and she's dope. Just how, you're not gonna find somebody like her. Like, this is just a lot. So I went back in the room and I was like, all right, well, Mel's gonna owe me over $60,000, but let's do it. Let's sign the deal. And then we signed a deal with Epic.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask you because Jeff Burrows, was he not the one that signed A. Marie?
I don't know. He was president of Bad Boy for a while though.
Yeah. I worked at with Edmunds Entertainment for a while, and
Okay.
he was there. He signed
Yeah.
it. Yeah, so I know Jeff. Yeah, so
Yep.
wow, and Benny. Yeah, so yeah, so they tried to. Wow.
Yeah, Benny, me and Benny are good friends. I understand. Like that was just my introduction to the big boys. You know,
Wow.
no, I wasn't mad at it. Benny's a good friend. I think Benny's a genius, super, super smart guy.
But then, how come you didn't have a lawyer like Amel had when you were getting signed with the Mantronics? I mean, I'm
You know
like,
what's funny? My lawyer. Well, think about this, right? I'm a kid from New York. I don't know lawyers.
yeah.
I don't got no lawyers on my block. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no lawyers in my community. I don't know no lawyers. So my first lawyer was Mantronic's attorney was Steve Shapiro, who's a big entertainment attorney. Steve gave me my lawyer, who was
It's apprentice.
professor. Yeah. I thought it was the good things like, oh, this guy's great. He was my teacher. I'm like, oh shit, I got the teacher. I got an advantage. Wasn't no advantage. His name was Seymour Feig. I don't know if he had dementia or what, but it was like he was a character and he just made me sign whatever, to be honest, Amel's lawyer wasn't a great lawyer. He was just, lawyers are deal makers or deal breakers, and hers was a deal breaker. I think he was looking out for his client, but I think he also was trying to direct it somewhere where he can get a bigger check and have more control.
Yeah.
What was going on. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, how did that affect the relationship between you and Amel at the very beginning when this is happening? How does that affect the relationship?
It affected it. It affected it because the day that happened, I told her that day, I said, from here on, I don't hire or fire nobody for you, and you on your own. Like from here on. Because everything I've done for you is clearly nothing. So I don't mind doing 50-50, but you go do 50-50 for real. You go do your own 50. Take care of all the business, handle it, handle it for yourself, because I was kind of acting as producer and manager at the time, So it affected us. It affected us. I think that for me, I think that was the first straw. That here we are, we're finally getting the deal we wanted so bad, and all of a sudden you going left, and you're actually willing to leave the situation to go sign a solo deal. It's not like she had a producer signed up, but it's Benny, so
yeah,
he was president of Warner. He could have told, I'll give you every top producer in the world at that point. Who knows?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, because as I said, there's a human element of of feeling betrayed, but still going along with that, and how the chemistry would be affected in the creative parts.
It was war. It was war. That was the first. That was the start of the war.
Wow.
Yeah.
On reflection, what would on reflection, what do you think you could have done differently to understand her naivety, but still not have it affect the creativity and the group in the longer term when you look back at this stage of your life?
Well, I don't think it affected the creativity at all. It just affected our personal relationship.
Yeah.
Around that time is when I also introduced her to her husband, which her husband is a good friend of mine as well. So then I think it became, just from when that lawyer came in, from what he did, and then when she got married, I just think from there, just silently, like, sides start to form. You know what I mean? Jimmy's with me for sure, no matter what. He loves Amel, he took care of her, all that, but I brought Jimmy into the situation. Jimmy helped me fund this. Me and Jimmy are going to be on the same side at all times. And then with Amel, you're married to Larrieux. You're going to be on that side for all times. Larrieux's going to be with her at all times. So it kind of just naturally, business just kind of naturally causes some kind of divisiveness and some kind of divide within the crew.
Wow. But as I said, in reflection, though, if you older and wiser, what would you think you might have done differently to sort of?
I really don't know what I could have done. I think the only thing I could have done was save some of my money so I could stand strong on my decision. That was it. But where would it get me? Then we wouldn't have an album. You know what I mean? So I don't really, that it didn't make me resentful towards it where I acted on it.
Okay.
I acted on it much later because of other things. But that wasn't it. That just fundamentally, it made us 50-50. I didn't really care too much because music-wise, we are doing 50-50. I'm doing the music, she's doing the lyrics and singing.
Yeah.
So I wasn't mad about the split. I was more mad about what to me was disloyalty at the time, and just being covert and not discussing it with me and talking it out with me. Yeah. Not that would have went far, as because it wouldn't have, but still the attempt. You know what I mean? I could look back and I could respect the attempt instead of using the lawyer dude to do it. I just didn't like that.
Yeah. When you do the album, how long does it take after you sign that the album is finished and ready to go out?
The album was done, I think, in about probably a little over a year.
Wow.
Be like 13 months, something like that. Yeah. So album was done, mixed and mastered, and then we had the second strike, which was, and it's not bad that it happened, but the way that it fucking happened wasn't cool. We finished the album, and it actually turned into a blessing, to be honest. We finished the album, and we have this they put all these earth tone colors on us and shit. I'm like, okay, whatever. It was just stuff. It was like we were creatively pulled in like image things that I didn't really like, and I don't think Amel liked. And we had a photo shoot in New Orleans. And it was like a 25,000, 30,000 photo shoot, which was a lot for them. Planned everything out. I had a hot photographer. And then we were supposed to have a meeting the next morning or leave the next morning, but I think it was a meeting. And I go to the label like 9 a.m, super early, and Amel doesn't show up. We're like, okay, she's late. She's an artist, fine. It's 11:30, 12 o'clock. She's still not there. Then maybe like 3 o'clock, her and her husband call in, and he's like, she doesn't feel good. So our product manager at the time is like, look, my father's a doctor. Y'all in Manhattan, he's in Manhattan. Go see my father. No, we good. We got somewhere we're gonna go. Once it's like 5:45, 6 o'clock, everybody in Epic's leaving. I'm like, yo, I'm out. I'm not like, wow. What am I doing there? So me and Jimmy leave. We leave, and I get a call around 7 o'clock or 7:30, and they're like, yeah, so Mel showed up. We think you need to call her. Okay. At this point is when Mel doesn't pick up the phone. Larrieux answers the phone. She doesn't touch the phone. It's just, you have to go through Larrieux every time. So I'm like, okay. So I call Larrieux. I'm like, yo, what's up? He's like, oh, nothing. She's fine. It's either an ectopic pregnancy or she's pregnant, one or the other, but she's fine. I'm like, oh, what? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm confused. I thought we had this talk, right? I introduced y'all. Y'all got mad. All that's fine, right? What are you doing? What do you mean, baby? We're about to put out an album. Hey, man, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. I'm like 24, 25. I wasn't as, as cool as I am now. And I mean, and they have the most amazing child. Like, their daughter is amazing. But then I'm just thinking business, and I'm just thinking like this, I feel blindsided. So I speak to Amel, and I'm like, yo, what's up? It's like, nothing. How you doing? I'm like, I ain't doing that great. She's like, okay, so what do you want to do? I said, I don't know, I'll probably get somebody else to just sing your song. She's like, okay, cool. Well, let me know. Here's LaRue. And gives the phone back. And that shit infuriated me. Because that was just like, that was on purpose. That whole I don't care attitude, that was on purpose. So that was like, yeah, that was a big problem. So ultimately, it ended up being a blessing because she had a beautiful child, but also ended up being a blessing because that year that we sat, it was the weirdest shit. The cassette leaked to the entire record industry. Nobody in the streets heard it. But as far as the record industry, every single label knew every single record and knew every word to every, like we were literally the hottest shit in the business. It was like weird. So that was a great advantage because Epic knew like, okay, we gotta take these little cool kids, we gotta take them serious now. And then the record came out, and once the DJs in New York, got it. Tell Me became our last record that we recorded because we had under the control composition clause, we need to add some more records. So it was kind of like, what do we do? So I was like, I don't know, let's just do Tell Me over. Like, fuck it. We did it for Rhythm and Bass in London. We gave it to Trey Lorenz. Sony didn't like it for him. Let me and Daryl fuck with the beat and do it again. And then we just changed the beat, and then she sung it. It was her song to begin with, but it was just kind of full circle. But it was the last song that we recorded that we didn't think anything of at all. And then it just spread like wildfire once it came out.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and you had Trey doing the ad lib at the back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, it was such a, as I said, it's hard to describe what kind of a song. I mean, her voice, but it was just so soothing. I mean, but did you not think it was, did you not think this was you didn't think anything of it?
It was a song we heard a million times.
Okay.
And it was just like, all right, Bryce did something different to the beat. That's all it really was. It really was like, why don't you re-sing it to this new beat I made? Same shit. Let's just get it done. That's all it was to us. It wasn't, we heard no hint of a hit record in there at all. We honestly were just trying to fulfill the amount of songs we needed on that album.
When it blew up though, did it surprise you completely? Did it blindside you? Like, wow, this is.
Yeah, definitely did. Because it was, this is like my second success. Mantronix was probably the biggest record I've touched internationally. So I experienced how it blew up that way.
Yeah.
It was still heavy on the radios in America, but it was I don't even remember how that really happened. With Groove Theory, it was a thing of whenever me and my cousins would go out, every car that's going by is blasting this record, and we looking at each other like, what the fuck is going on? It's just crazy. Like every single car that's going by, every club we go to, and just watching everybody's reaction to it as people are like first hearing it or like, oh, that's the song. What is that? That's, it was interesting. It just spread like wildfire.
How did that, but then having that hit single when it's not the song that you really thought was going to be blow up, how does that change the direction of where the label's going and where you're going to, with the rest of the album?
For me, I didn't look at it like that because if you notice every song Groove Theory, not one song sounds like the other, Every song is pretty much a stark difference from the song before or after it. Yeah. So to me, I was just like, all right, let's get to the next sound. Like 10 Minute High was probably our favorite. And 10 Minute High was definitely the favorite before Tell Me. So we were just like, let's get to that. It was the label that was like, it's not big enough. And we were like, but it's cool. And they were like, we're not going for cool. We're going for, and that's also when you start to understand music as a business.
As a business,
as a brand, that being artistic and creative is not, that's not the formula.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I used to remember watching you and thinking, he's in a group, he's not singing. Did people wonder why you didn't sing, or like they expected you to?
Yeah, they so we did it, right? And I was, we did everything, and it was like, all right, we got to do the artwork and this and that. I was like, all right. And they were like, so you have to be, and I was like, okay. And I'm gonna watch Amel take her pictures. They were like, no, you in the group, you gotta take pictures. I was like, I don't want to take no pictures. I don't want to be in this. I don't want to be in the camera, none of that.
Yeah.
I just had a different mentality then. So that's why I was faded out of the album cover.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
album was single one, but I faded myself out. I was like, get me out of focus so they really can't see me. I'll just be some figure, but focus on her.
Yeah, but as I said, when I heard Trey, I thought it was you because I mean it just
Makes
didn't
sense.
make it made sense that you were the because
Yeah.
we didn't see we just
Yeah.
assumed you were the singer. But why
Yeah.
didn't you do some rapping then?
I was done with that.
Ah,
When I walked away from that, that was it.
but then so after the album blows up, I mean, and especially at that time, you know, we had Kadar out in starting to the neo soul, so we had D'Angelo coming out, Angie Stone, and Erica Badu and all that sort of vibe was, you know, moving to that Maxwell. So it was just almost as if the industry was like doing away with New Jack. You know, you had Diddy doing his stuff and you had the East and West Coast doing their stuff, but there was space for the type of music that you guys were doing. There was an expectation from all of us that, okay, man, we can't wait for the follow-up.
Yeah. The we were the follow-up material we had was incredible. It was really, really dope. But where we were going personally, it was never gonna happen. It just wasn't. Um when we put out the album, me keeping myself out of the focus backfired on me.
Ah.
Where Amel is the star, as she
Mm.
should be. She's the front person, and I'm in the background, which is fine. But then I started getting treated like the background, like way in the back. So we had a clothing budget of say $2,000. I would always give it to Amel. I had money. I'll go to Barney's. I'll spend $1,200 on the shirt, and I'd go to the show. That's just what I did because I self-funded this thing anyway. You know,
Mm.
that I didn't mind. You know, there were a lot of things that I felt the Mel needed because she's in the front.
Mm.
But then it started getting a little crazy and I started hearing rumors. The over Epic, the rumor was, well, Bryce doesn't have the talent. She's the one with the talents. When they break up, we're taking her. And I don't like this. Just certain things don't put me in war mode. Like I'll lose every battle, but I will win the war. So when I started hearing that, me and Jimmy would talk, and Jimmy would be like, "Yo, we gotta strategize something." And I'm like, "Yeah, we gotta figure this out." But I was kind of more caught up on how can they do that? Like this is my shit. I started it. You know, I was kind of just a little bit more sensitive about that. And I'm young, and I'm like, why? To me, I'm kind of like for a minute, you're like a victim. Like, why me? Why are you doing this to me? And then I was like, all right, I gotta flip it. So what happened was I had a big crush on Toni Braxton. Like a huge crush. Like I'm marrying her. She's amazing. Like that's how I was when the first time I saw her. So Billy Woodruff, the director, had saw her at BET and got me a signed autograph.
Wow.
That's it. Something like to my future husband. See you at the Grammys, right? So, you know, I was ecstatic about that. And out of the blue, I kept getting these phone calls from everybody. Everybody was like, call me, call me, call me. I'm like, yo, what's up? Your girl wants to meet you. She's in town. I'm like, Toni? They're like, yeah. Okay. So I go, I meet Toni. I meet L.A. Reid. Me and L.A. clicked immediately. I gave him some beats. He's in the studio. He's playing the beats. And he's like, you know, he's a drummer.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
with a drummer in the deal. So we're gonna connect over the beat side of music.
Mm.
And he heard it, and then I just like switched over that camp. Like in New York, you have to be down with Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell, or Puff.
Okay.
That's the gateway. Me, I went to Atlanta, circumvented everybody, and Atlanta was selling way more records at the time.
Mm.
Dallas, Austin with ABC,
Yeah,
Boys
Monica.
and
Yeah.
Jermaine Dupri with Bow Wow to Brad, or like Atlanta was really moving units. And then of course,
TLC,
was the
yeah.
king. So so a lot of that honestly was to level the playing ground. I played in Atlanta with the big boys to level the playing ground and to leverage that against Epic and
Epic.
because I was just getting played. Like left every opportunity for me to get played, I was getting played.
Wow.
And then that switch from me doing the Tony record, Groove Theory we didn't even go gold. And the Tony record selling 270,000 units a week, like for like 30 weeks. It's at 20 million now, So when that happened, of course, everything changed. They fired Paris Davis. I went and did a video for Craig Cameron at Atlantic Records. I'll do this video, but you gotta give my man a job. All right, we'll give him a job. He got a job. Me and Jimmy moving on, negotiating, producing for everybody on the planet at that time. And then I'm going back doing these little shows with Groove Theory. It just didn't really make sense anymore. It was like the power dynamic shifted back towards me. And I wanted it to be like this because I would tell him, like, yo, we write like these little, hits that are like really easy and basic. We can write them in our sleep. Let's just do it for a lot of people. The Tony record I gave to Amel as well. I gave the You're Making Me Hot beat to Amel. But when I gave it to her, I was out somewhere and I called the studio like, yo, let me hear the record. And it was like, yo, we gotta have a talk. We gotta have a talk about what? Well, who's getting producer credit? The producer. What do you mean? The producer, the guy whose studio you sitting in singing in, he's getting the producer credit. Like, what are you talking about? And it was just like weird. Like, I'm way too rich right now. Like, you can't, like, what are you doing right now? To tell me I have to make you a producer. You're not producing the record. I'm the one who met them, and I'm, what I'm saying, and I'm promising them I'm going to give them a great record, and they asking me for a great record. So instead of just like riding along, everybody doing their part, it was like this, like, no, I'm in the front of all of this. All right, that's cool for Groove Theory, but you're not taking that outside of Groove Theory in my space. Mm-hmm. I'm an independent producer. You're not coming in and whatever I produce, you have to do. If it comes to that point, no problem, but you're not going to tell me, that's what I have to do, So I was basically like, put me on speaker. All y'all get the fuck out of my house. I went and and then me and Babyface did the record instead. And then it just became what it became what it became. So those are the things that led up to, and I'm sure Mel's got her own side of the story. I've heard that I took all the Groove Theory royalties. Now she knows that's not true. I was like, all right, well, find where I did and sue me. Like I'll give it back to you if you can find it. It's not a problem. But all of those were the things that led up to this group. It can't possibly work. And I also always started Groove Theory out with the idea to feature a new singer on each project.
Okay.
Yeah. When it was time to do the album, they offered us $100,000. And I was like, tell them to call when they're serious. And they were like, no, we are serious. I was like, I'm not serious. Jimmy went to jail. Shakim was managing us. And Shakim was like, no, this is cool. Take it. I was like, no, I'm making $60,000 a track. Like, and this is still, right? Amel is part of me. I'm killing it. So we're going to make more money. So I told Amel, like, just relax. I got it. I'll deal with the label. I didn't make her deal with it. I was using my value to give us more value.
Yeah.
And then I got a call from Paris that said, well, Amel wants 60,000 of the 100. I was like, this is Miss 50-50. I'm cool with splitting this 50-50. This is the last check I need right now. I would literally lose checks for $50,000, $80,000 in my drawer. Literally, no lie. So I'm like, I don't care about this, but I'm not going to take less than 50%. You wanted 50% of this group. Now you want 60%? No, you still want 60% of the group, but you want 60% of that check. That's the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Those kind of things, it just wasn't going to fly anymore, because I'm still using what I'm doing outside to come back and make us stronger, because we were on the path to follow what the Fugees did. They came out with an album that did okay, then they came back, did 21 million.
Yeah.
We knew we were gonna sell at least 4 to 6 to 8 million records on it. We had bona fide hit records on, like records that killed the first album. The first album was nothing next to what we wrote. But it just became, every single thing became a power struggle. Then I heard that I should be getting less publishing. So now I should be getting 40% of the publishing instead of 50, because someone told her that the songwriter is more important as far as the publishing split. I was like, well, not in my world, it's not. So this is going to stay 50-50.
Well,
so those things, like, once those things start piling up, and I'm having an amazing career outside of the group, but my name is actually bigger than Groove Theory, it just didn't make any sense. It was like, you guys had a good time, y'all beat me up, I started this, but that's, it's got to end at some point.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
Somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you with.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple pieces.
Trying to get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay, you okay?
They don't understand what Jonas boys are winning all spirits.
Play it.
These guys, they all work together.
I mean, I love all different genres.